for the manifestation, Vice Chair Roger Mercado. Next in line, Representative Tony Roman.
Good morning po, Ombudsman Vargas. A few questions. We all know the mandates of the Office of the Ombudsman, and it's to investigate and to prosecute, no? Tapos meron hong you have the disciplinary authority as well, and also you have the authority to do lifestyle checks. I guess sa pagsusuri ho ng budget, tinitinan po natin how you can effectively perform your mandates given the budget that you have, and nang sa ganon, you can do your job effectively. Ano ho yung KPI nyo with respect to investigation?
Sa katarungan po ng ating kagalang-galang na mambabatas, Congressman Tordoman, ibibigay ko po ang papaliwanag kay ng aming Deputy Ombudsman Balbeo.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Your Honors. With respect to investigation, we always do investigation, though we do not do it in public. We are not so-called media, what do you call this? Yeah, yes. We do investigation discreetly so as not to burn our investigation, and we do not publish anything until we have the case ready for the filing before the courts, either with the Sandigan Bayan or the regular courts, Your Honor.
Just to perhaps clarify my question, ano yung, how do you measure success with respect to investigation? For example, like how many cases were filed last year? What is the disposition rate? Ganun po.
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honors. We have here percentage of completed case build-up reports and fact-finding investigation in our lifestyle check. Our target for 2024 was 21.8%. As of June of 2025, we achieved 26.1%, Your Honor.
A question about that. Bakit ho 21% yung target nyo? And what does the 21% represent? Yun ho yung disposition rate ho ba that out of the cases filed, you dispose of, you conclude the investigate 21% of the investigation? Ganun ho ba? Just can you
Opo. Ito po ay
explain?
Completed case build-up report and fact-finding investigation or lifestyle check. Nag-result po ito ng filing for criminal or administrative cases po.
21% of the time? Ganun ho ba yun? Out
Yung
of all
po,
cases?
opo. I'm sorry. 2024, it was the actual target. 21.8% is the actual target, sir.
Can you explain po yung metric na yun? What do you mean by 21%?
Yes, Your Honor. The numerator is 176 and the denominator is 806. So we get 21.8%, sir. The numerator would represent the number of completed case build-up reports and fact-finding resulting in filing. The denominator, or the 806 that I mentioned, would be the total number of completed case build-up reports and fact-finding, which this is the total already. So the 176, it resulted in the filing of criminal or admin cases, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. So your indicator is the number of cases filed
Yes.
in the Sandigan Bayan.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. But
Before
or
the
in
courts.
court. Or
Yes,
in court.
yes, Your Honor.
Or both.
Yes, Your Honor.
The denominator represents what again?
It is the total number of completed case build-up
Okay.
and or fact-finding investigation. or
Okay.
lifestyle.
So out of the completed investigation, how many you have filed? Yun po yung metric nyo.
Opo. Yes po.
And what about in terms of the number of pending investigations? Ano ho ba yung docket ninyo ngayon? How many cases are pending?
Yes, Your Honor. As of July of 2025, we have a total of 950 pending fact-finding cases, Your Honor.
Okay.
This is OMB-wide, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and Malaya, sir.
950 cases pending.
Yes,
Yung
Your Honor.
806, they're done. Completed ho yung 806, tama?
Yes po. That was for calendar year 2024, Your Honor.
Okay. The 950 is historical from
The
the start?
Yes po. The 950 is as of July of this year.
Opo. Ito ho 950 cases na pending, ano ho yung pinakamatandang kaso? Anong year po pinail?
I apologize, Your Honor. We don't have the data on that, but we'll provide you,
Oh.
Your Honor.
So I guess in terms of the budget that we have, how does the budget reflect your efforts to actually bridge the gap or close the gap of 950 cases? Paano ho yung anong plano ninyo para makompleto po yung investigation part ng 950 pending cases?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we are in the process actually of adding more personnel to our manpower complement. Actually, as of until June or July of this year, we already had a total of 210 newly hired personnel. This would include lawyer and non-lawyer, Your Honor. And this would greatly complement our efforts to speed up the fact-finding and other investigation of our office.
To what extent are you using technology or artificial intelligence to speed up the disposition of investigation?
To be honest, Your Honor, up to this time, we have not yet been fully utilizing AI. That's why part of our budget request would be to put up a cybercrime laboratory to help our investigators to be abreast with the new technology, Your Honor.
Opo. So how much is the budget for the cybercrime? You mentioned center or
Laboratory.
laboratory, sorry.
Yes, Your Honor, we are hopefully requesting for 568.735 million as part of the MOOE, and this would finance or be used partly to beef up or put up a cybercrime laboratory.
Is that are you in contact with a provider or supplier for the cybercrime laboratory?
In all honesty, at this point, Your Honor, we do not have yet because we don't have the funding.
Okay. Hayaan nyo.
Yes.
Full support naman po ako sa budget nyo eh.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
But I have to ask these questions.
Yes po.
Now, you mentioned earlier there's a backlog of 950 cases, being investigated,
Yeah. It's pending, Your Honor.
pending. You have the power to preventively suspend officials.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that preventive suspension automatic when there's a case being investigated?
Not necessarily, Your Honor. There are certain requirements for us to impose preventive suspension. One of which is that if we need to preserve the documents on hand by the respondent, we have to use that extraordinary power to suspend this certain public official, Your Honor. And also another requirement is that if the evidence is strong, that will lead to the dismissal of the respondent, we do exercise that prerogative to suspend the public official, Your Honor.
In the 950 cases, do you know how many in those cases, the 950, how many times have you imposed preventive suspension?
For the 950, Your Honor, that is just for fact-finding. It's not yet in the preliminary investigation.
Sa preliminary investigation, you have the capacity to.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
I guess so. The next question is, of the 950 cases, how many are under preliminary investigation?
Sorry, Your Honor, I don't have the data right now on the number of preventive suspension that we imposed, Your Honor.
Ano
We
na
will
lang?
provide you, Your Honor.
Last year, how many were preventively suspended? If you have it. If not, I'll move on.
Apologize, Your Honor, we don't have that data right now. We can provide you, Your Honor.
Yung part of your is success rate at the prosecution level, like convictions, one of your metrics? Kasi as a prosecuting body, I would assume that you measure also success in the number of convictions.
Yes, Your Honor, as we have a conviction rate data right here with me. As of July 2025, for Sandigan Bayan cases, Your Honor, we have a 47.49% conviction. It resulted in 180 convictions, Your Honor.
That's actually a respectable number. Half the time you win,
Thank you, Your
almost.
Honor. Thank you.
Yung ano ho, how is the staffing at? I think back in the day when I used to appear at the Sandigan Bayan, we had the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that still you still have the Office of the
Yes,
Special
Your Honor.
Prosecutor?
Actually, the special prosecutor is beside me, Your Honor.
Ma'am, Madam Chair, ano ho ba what are the challenges that you are facing with respect to prosecuting cases? Maybe the number of lawyers prosecuting, the training involved maybe, the resources, for example. That's why I asked about AI, because AI can help you draft decisions also. I'm just giving you a tip, but you need to fact check it. And ano ho yung challenges ninyo, and how does the present budget address those?
With respect to cases filed before the Sandigan Bayan, there is definitely a reduction in number of cases filed before the Sandigan Bayan. It's because of the new law, 10660, which changed more or less expanded the jurisdiction of the regional trial courts to handle anti-graft cases. So, with respect to this Sandigan Bayan, there is a significant reduction in number.
Significant reduction in number. Also, I believe the Sandigan, the LGUs also have capacity to also hear and decide, draft cases, like abuse of authority
Yes.
as well,
Administrative cases.
administrative cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you collaborate with the LGUs? Is there some kind of collaboration that you do, the Ombudsman does with the LGUs?
The investigation.
With
Your
respect to
Honor,
graft
there are
cases.
times that we do refer some cases to the LGUs for their for admin cases, Your Honors.
So in the last few years, you said that there's been a reduction in the cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. So one last question. how can you make sure that the budget translates into faster investigations, stronger prosecution, and real convictions? Parang here's an opportunity for you to actually sort of just like sum up everything and tell how does this budget make you more effective in discharging your mandates as your constitutional mandates?
Your Honor, part of the budget that we are requesting would be channeled to training programs for our prosecutors and investigators. This would really help them to be up to date in the latest jurisprudence and other pronouncements by the court. Likewise, training programs such as those that we intend to provide for our investigators would necessarily give them that additional knowledge so that they could cope up with the demands of the technology and other, improvements in the system, Your Honor.
In terms of public education, is there an allocation for that?
In terms of public education, last year or this year, Your Honor, we collaborated with the University of the Philippines. There's the Aral and Asal program wherein the Office of the Ombudsman provided funding for a mini TV series that involve graft and corruption cases that already, deemed final by the Supreme Court, Your Honor. This would, the trust of the then administration of the Office of the Ombudsman would educate the young people that not to do these things.
This is
Something
a
like that.
TV series.
Yes, Your Honor. It's in UPTV.
Sino yung artista dyan?
From the UP, Your Honor.
Ah, okay.
While we volunteered, but we were not able to qualify, Your Honor.
Bakit naman artistahin naman po kayo? Madam Chair, I have nothing further. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Representative Tony Roman. Next to manifest, Vice Chair Brian Poe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Of course, the Office of the Ombudsman is a very important part of our government when it comes to accountability. I'd like to laud the Office of the Ombudsman on preparing a panel to support the flood control investigation. Just recently, I think about 6 days ago, you're forming a 13-member panel to support the President's initiative. Kailangan talaga natin pondohan ang Office of the Ombudsman para matuloy nila yung panel, para supportan yung Pangulo natin sa investigation pagdating sa flood control. Napakahalaga ito dahil sa alam ko, yung tungkulin ng panel natin is to look into the bidding, no? This is an important process of government that needs to have transparency and needs to have accountability. Kaya napakahalaga ang panel na ito. And because the panel was formed only recently, itong September, sigurado po ako wala pa yan sa budget ng 2026. Kaya, Madam Chair, if we could look into kung magkano po ang kailangan nila para ipakita natin na Congress is supportive of this investigation and supportive of the efforts of our President and the Ombudsman. Yun lang po. I just wanted to bring that up and make sure that our kababayans are aware na may ginagawa po ang Office of the Ombudsman and of course on our end sa Congress to support these investigations. Moving forward, I just have one question lang, update lang po. Alam ko last year kasi nag-file po kayo ng charges ata for Farmally. If I'm not mistaken, ano po yung updates regarding Farmally? Curious lang ako at syempre yung mga constituents po natin.
Madam Chair, ang sagot po niyan ay si Tio Balmeo po ang sasagot po.
Yes, good morning again, Madam Chair, Your Honors. Relative to the Farmally case, there was already one case filed before the Sandigan Bayan, and there's a forthcoming another case that will be filed.
Is there any timeline on this po? May timeline po ba tayo?
Anytime, Your Honor.
Anytime. Okay. Sige. Well, hopefully I'll by plenary may update tayo dito. But in general, I'm good. I'm happy to know na may progress po tayo pagdating dito sa family kasi maliban dito sa mga flood control issues natin ngayon, syempre once upon a time yung family was the big case of the day. Kaya let's show our kababayans na there's moving progress and accountability when it comes to even old issues of the day. With that, Madam Chair, I yield the floor. I just want to manifest again my support for the 13-member panel that the Ombudsman is putting together. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Brian Poe. The chairperson would like to ask some clarificatory questions po.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Attorney Mike Tan. Just wanted to ask a few things po. I'm looking at the utilization rates for the Office of the Ombudsman in the previous years. And maganda naman po yung utilization rates. It's always above 96%. Actually, and so far 95% po for year 2025. So we would like to commend you on that po. We're able to see na kung ano man po yung ating ipinagkakatiwala na pondo sa Office of the Ombudsman ay nagagamit po talaga. So perhaps a few questions po, also jumping off from the questions of my colleagues. The first po being the metrics as mentioned by Kong Tony Roman. So may we again reiterate po the request lodged by Kong Roman, if we may please ask for additional information po at the granular level, preliminary cases, nasa na po, at which stage each of the cases are, para lang matrack lang po natin yung in terms of physical accomplishment po.
We will do that, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Similarly po, I'm looking at the presentation with regard to program expenditure classification. Yung pang-ilan ba to sa slides? I'm seeing here that the figures under the PREXC are expressed in terms of percentages. Would it be possible po to request for the absolute number of cases for each of the different categories as outlined in the PREXC? Yung program expenditure classification po.
Again, Your Honor, we commit to submit to the Chair.
Thank you very much. Kasi it would also help us understand siguro the scale by which the Office of the Ombudsman is operating if we have these in absolute numbers vis-a-vis percentages as outlined currently. Yun lang po. Tinitignan ko kasi dito so siguro just wanted to understand siguro there's a big difference between the percentages of the FY 2024 actual versus yung FY 2025 targets. So I see here that for several of the categories, nagkaroon po ng malaking adjustment doon sa target downward. So siguro po I'm not able to compare apples to apples kasi po I don't have the FY 2024 targets. So I can interpret it in one of two ways and I wanted to pose a question to the Office of the Ombudsman which one is the correct interpretation. Either the FY 2024 targets are the same as the FY 2025 targets pero na-exceed nyo po yung targets. Hence, the FY 2024 actuals are higher. Or binaba ninyo yung targets for 2025. So, which of the two interpretations is correct po? Hopefully, it's the first. Ibig sabihin na exceed po na Office of the Ombudsman yung FY 2024 initial targets.
Madam Chair, we exceeded our target. We did not lower it.
Okay, good, good. Happy to hear that po. So, ibig sabihin, kung ano po yung targets na nakaset dito for fiscal year 2025, yun din po yung targets nyo for fiscal year 2024. Tama po ba? Can you confirm that please po?
I was informed, Your Honor, that we increased our target for 2025, having reached the 2024 target.
That's good. It's actually, okay, good thing that we clarified that kasi medyo ang akin po siguro, halimbawa po, under the Anti-Corruption Enforcement Program, under number 5, percentage of criminal and civil cases tried in court not resulting in an approved demurrer to evidence. Di ba, 92.17% yung actual ng 2024, pero 21% lang yung target for 2025. So parang nasa isip ko, ang ganda nung accomplishment, 'di ba? Parang 'di ba, yung maganda ba yung accomplishment pag ganun? Ang ganda nung accomplishment, pero bakit binagsak yung target? Kasi na-hit nyo na yung 92%, so bakit yung ibababa sa 21? So yun lang siguro, just wanted to understand that po.
Madam Chair, for the year 2024, our target was 13%. We hit it, the actual for 2024 was, we hit it by 92.2%.
Right.
Now for 2025, our proposed target was 21.0%. As of June of 2025, we already reached the 100%. You know.
Wow. That's what I was saying po. Na 'di ba, it's very important for you to express it in terms of absolute numbers. Kasi po we also want to give the recognition that the Office of the Ombudsman deserves in terms of the physical accomplishments for the previous year. So very happy to note that po. Because as you can see po, medyo nakakunot yung noo ko kanina going through this because I was trying to understand which of the two interpretations is correct. So I'm happy po na it's the first interpretation, which is yung 2024 targets and 2025 targets are roughly the same kanina. But then again, ang nangyari po, na-exceed ng Office of the Ombudsman by a lot, like super a lot yung target po for 2024. Hence, you've actually increased the targets for 2025, and thus far, you've already exceeded those targets by a lot. So, very happy to
We
hear
will
that
provide
po.
you, Your Honor, with the complete data that we
Yes, thank you very much po. Siguro, para po mabigyan ng hustisya yung accomplishment ng Office of the Ombudsman, if we may ask for 4 columns po. So, it would be FY 2024 targets versus FY 2024 actuals, and then 2025 targets versus FY 2025 actuals thus far, so far po in the year. Yun lang po. Again, happy to hear that, and we would like to commend the Office of the Ombudsman for the great physical accomplishment of your targets for year 2024. Next question po would be with regard to the special provisions, the requested special provisions as discussed by Assistant Ombudsman Cornito a while ago. So, taking a look at the NEP and the GAB, so the first request po with regard to organizational structure is already there. So, okay na po tayo dyan. And the committee is also amenable to including number 3 and number 4 po in the proposals. We'll have to look further into number 5 and number 6 with regard to the benefits and pensions. Pero upon consultation with the DBM, we're okay din po with provisions regarding the use of savings and the use of income. We'll just have to look a little bit more into the 5th and the 6th provisions that are requested by the Office of the Ombudsman. The next one po that I wanted to ask on would be the Ombudsman Assistance Centers as requested by the Office of the Ombudsman for additional funding. So I just want to understand a little bit more po as to what the vision is for the OAC. Kasi meron pong, as proposed here, you're requesting for a lump sum fund of 93.6 million for 6 additional AOC. So just wanted to understand po the current framework configuration of the OAC and why you would like to request for 6 more to be established.
Madam Chair, currently we have 1 assistance centers in Zamboanga, 1 in Tuguegarao, 1 in Capiz, 1 in Jolo, and Those are assistance centers. The setup at Calbayog and another one in Calbayog. The setup would be an assistance center would be a 2-table or 3-table setup, wherein 2 or 3 personnel from the office of the Ombudsman are stationed there. They are there authorized to receive the SALNs of employees in those areas, receiving complaints. Basically, we're trying to reach out to the people. And the thrust of the current acting ombudsman would be to put up additional assistance centers, 3 more in the Luzon area, 3 in Visayas, and 3 in Mindanao. 9 po. That is the plan, Your Honor, because we could, we could minimize or whatever, cancel whatever. It would depend on the location and the availability of the space that we need. To be honest, Your Honor, at this point, we have the assistance centers at City Mall, and we're using this free of charge, courtesy of the Double Dragon Company. But in the event that there are no other City Mall spaces that we can use for free, we intend, as we plan, to perhaps do a rental of a small space in those areas that we intend to add assistance centers. Or if possible, we could use or we could put up a small space in military camps or PNP camps that will be more accessible to the public, because we want to reach out to more people rather than going to Visayas, Cebu, or Davao. We want to reach out to as many people as possible. That's the plan, Your Honor.
Thank you very much po. If I may clarify lang po to our acting ombudsman and our deputy ombudsman. So ano po yung naging accomplishments? You have, if I heard it correctly, 5 OACs. So ano po yung, kasi po dalawa yung main coverage nila, di ba? It's to get the SALNs and to get complaints. So, siguro po, gusto lang namin maintindihan kung ano po yung additional accomplishments ng Office of the Ombudsman that may be attributed to these OACs po. Mas marami bang nakapagsumbong? Mas marami po bang na-actionan ng mga kaso?
I'm sorry, I forgot that we have an assistance center in Pasay, Your Honor.
So, 6 po in total, right?
Yes po.
Opo.
We receive a total number of, this is for clearance only, Your Honor. For Pasay area, for the Pasay OAC, we have 268 applications rather. For the Tuguegarao Assistance Center, we receive 171 clearance application. For the Rosales, it's satellite office in Rosales, it's not an assistance center, it's a full office, Your Honor. We received 952 applications, a total of 1,391, Your Honor, as we speak, as of September 9 to 2025, Your Honor. This would be only for clearance applications, Your Honor. We do not have with me the data on the number of complaints and assistance that we provided in this area, sir.
If we may please request for that information po from the Office of the Ombudsman family, just so we can be able to more accurately assess. Kasi po, perhaps on our side, it seems to me it's more administrative at the moment, di ba po? Kasi given the, as mentioned by Kong Brian po, given the current developments with regard to the flood control probe, we know that a lot of these, as also directed by the President, would emanate from the locality. So, yung mga reports po, yung sumbong sa Pangulo, yung mga mas nakikita po kasi ng mga kababayan natin kung ano talaga yung nangyayari sa ground. So, we hope that the Office of the Ombudsman can also consider that aside from having these OACs act as mostly administrative centers for clearances and acceptance of SALNs, sana po maging avenue din po sila para sa mga kababayan natin na gusto pong magsumbong, may gustong idulog patungkol po sa mga nakikita nila, most especially with regard to the flood control developments po. So siguro yun po, siguro if I may suggest po on the part of the committee, if the Office of the Ombudsman may consider expanding the scope of the OACs.
Yes, we will do that, Your Honor. In fact, as of now, we intend to detail or assign permanently a lawyer per each assistance center so that this lawyer can provide the necessary advice and or what do you call this? Help assistance in filing the complaints or the other assistance that they can provide. Because right now we don't have any lawyers for the assistance centers. So that's a plan, Your Honor.
The lawyers po, Deputy Ombudsman, would the lawyers be accounted for in the budget proposal for 2026? Kasama na po ba siya na-factor in yun na po ba?
Not yet, Your Honor.
If you may please give us an estimate, kasi po again, as mentioned by my colleagues, kailangan po kasi we want to equip the Office of the Ombudsman for all the new developments, and you're gonna play such a critical role in the facilitation and ultimately conviction of the cases that will be filed with regard to in relation to the flood control development. So we want to make sure for fiscal year 2026 that the Office of the Ombudsman is well equipped in terms of manpower, in terms of resources, to be able to perform that ever-expanding mandate po, especially in light of the development. So particularly for this po, if we may please ask for the cost estimate on how much it's going to take to expand, I guess, the scope of what the OACs can do. And yung pangalawa po, also in line with Kong Brian posed question a while ago, it's really that manpower and resource complements that you would need to enable the operations of the flood control panel that you've put together. So, yun na po. Gusto lang namin maintindihan kung ano po yung budgetary requirements na Office of the Ombudsman to operationalize the flood control panel. So, dalawa po yon, yung sa OACs and yung sa flood control panel. Ano po ba yung nakikita natin na composition? If you may disclose lang naman po. Like in terms of manpower, in terms of the scope, in terms of siguro would it require additional office space for that FC panel? Would you be hiring additional people, or would you just be getting within the ranks of the Office of the Ombudsman? Siguro po, if you may please just if you may lang po, I understand that a lot of this is confidential. So from a budget standpoint lang po, you don't need to disclose details as to the position and composition. Yung ano lang po, from a budgetary standpoint lang po, what do you envision, how do you envision this FC panel to look?
Well, initially, Your Honor, Madam Chair, we intend to offer existing personnel in our office who want to relocate to the provinces. If they want to be assigned or stationed there permanently, we would give them that first option, so to speak. If no takers will be, we would be hiring lawyers from those areas. Like if it's in Cagayan de Oro or Tuguegarao, we would be hiring lawyers from that area, so that to facilitate the process of investigation, that because they're more familiar with those places. And the staffing, we hope and we envision that at least one or two lawyers would be permanently stationed there. Right now we have 2 or 3 administrative staff stationed at the OACs. Probably we could increase it by 3 or 4. And more importantly, the equipment. We don't have the budget for the computers for those assistance centers. In all honesty, we're just providing them call cards, what do you call it? Loads for their cell phones, because we do not have access to internet, permanent internet providers in those areas. So eventually, and in fact, Your Honor, the tables that we are using are courtesy of the Double Dragon. It has been given for us free of use. So eventually, we want to buy our own equipment and provide more personnel for these assistance centers.
Thank you po. So, given the limited fiscal space that we have, as we all recognize po, we'll take a look on how we can go about this. So, depending on how much fiscal space we're able to find, we can either go the first route, which is to equip the existing 6 OACs with the additional resources, the equipment, the manpower that are needed. And if we're able to find more, perhaps we can allocate budget for the establishment of the additional OAC. So siguro po that's the route that we could go in terms of deliberating the funding, the additional funding that we may provide to the Office of the Ombudsman. So for the benefit po of the committee and for the benefit of the Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee who will be deliberating on the proposed amendments, hingiin ko po sana yung impormasyon na yun patungkol po dun sa magkano kung if in case we're not able to find existing staff that would want to be deployed to the OACs, magkano yung additional requirement for hiring these lawyers who we can station in the different OACs at magkano po yung computers, yung equipment requirements para po sa OACs. So, but yung request lang po siguro namin from our side is we hope that OACs could serve an additional purpose, which is to be that place where people can report complaints as opposed to being generally or dominantly an administrative arm lang po.
Actually, Madam Chair, they're doing that. They are receiving complaints in those assistance centers, but they forward it to either to the Visayas office or the Mindanao office or the central office. They're doing that, Your Honor.
Pahingi lang po ulit kami ng physical targets nung AOCs, nung 6 na AOCs in terms of complaints received, complaints processed, SALNs received, clearances issued, etc. po. Just so we can assess all of these po. Thank you very much po. And lastly po, just wanted to understand, I always ask this from departments po who request for additional manpower. How is the situation looking like po for the Office of the Ombudsman with regard to unfilled positions? In terms of your staffing pattern po.
Actually, Madam Chair, as of June or July of this year, we already hired about 100 or plus, or 200 plus lawyers and non-lawyers. To be honest, Your Honors, our main dilemma and obstacle in filling up positions in the Office of the Ombudsman is the office space that we have. We are so cramped in our office here in Quezon City. The original plan was to put up a building at the rear portion of our office, but it's quite unstable because there was a creek that was situated there. They just diverted that creek. So it was not physically possible to put up a building there. That is the very problem that we are facing right now. We are too cramped in our office. So probably, hopefully, we could purchase another lot where we could put up a new building for to expand our office space. To be honest, Your Honor, in my sector, the Office of the Deputy Ombudsman for the military, I do not have an entire floor with me because my floor is shared with our Central Records Division. So that is another problem for my sector, actually. And this goes for the Visayas and the Mindanao offices also, and Luzon. We are so cramped in our office, so we hope that we could, in the near future, that we could put up a new building, probably within Quezon City, if possible, to put up another building so that we could accommodate and hire more personnel. Your Honor.
I'm an alumna po of Philippine Science High School, main campus. So magkapit bahay po tayo. I know that creek and the things we see on that creek. So alam ko po na hindi nga talaga stable yung area na yon. So I understand completely po when you explained it to me why it's not possible to build a space along that creek. So siguro po kasi po perhaps my dilemma right now is we want the Office of the Ombudsman to be able to ramp up your operations kasi ang dami pong mga kaso and we would need to hire additional lawyers to be able to process cases faster. So, but then again, if the limitation is not on finding the right people, but rather where to house these new hires once they're hired, perhaps po, if the Office of the Ombudsman is amenable to that, instead of allocating funds for the purchase of a lot and the build out of a building, which may take a while, is it an option to rent? Mag-lease na lang po muna yung Office of the Ombudsman and we can look into how much that would be and whether we can accommodate that for the funding for FY 2026?
Yes, Your Honor. That's a very good option that we are thinking, Your Honor. But to be honest, Your Honor, we only have an acting ombudsman, so we might as well wait for the permanent ombudsman that will be appointed by the President. We can move forward from then on.
Opo. I think the worry lang from our side is the timeline that we're working at. Because we would need to be able to understand how much to lodge, how much funding to lodge within the Office of the Ombudsman. On our side po in the House, we'll have to do it by the early part of October. So, siguro po, kahit indicative, if that may, if that may be suggested to us by the Office of the Ombudsman, just to, just for us to be able to consider it for the current budget cycle po.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll work on it, Your Honor, and we thank you for recognizing our problem and proposing a solution to our current situation, Your Honor. Thank
Yes,
you very much.
because I know our colleagues here today recognize the very critical role that the Office of the Ombudsman will play in making sure that the independent commission, the independent panel that our president would like to put together to address the flood control developments, the alleged anomalies, essentially you would play such a huge role in making that panel successful. And I know that that would entail additional work, additional responsibilities on the part of the Office of the Ombudsman. So, of course, on our part po, maganda po na bring out po ng mga kasamahan ko dito that was not at all factored in when you planned for your FY 2026 budget. So, we want to make sure that we're able to factor that in. May panahon pa naman po na mapasok natin yan sa proposal natin for fiscal year 2026. So, again, we would need the help of the Office of the Ombudsman family to please help guide us para po malaman natin kung ano yung mga kailangan nating idagdag and which specific line items we would need to account for as we finalize the budget for the Office of the Ombudsman for fiscal year 2026. Yun na po. Kasi we were all saying po na, di ba, we support the increase in the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. But as chairperson po of the Committee on Appropriations, I would need to operationalize that. So, kailangan ko pong maintindihan which specific items and how much we need to allocate for these specific items. Okay? So, yes. So, siguro yun lang po. I think it's a resonating sentiment on the part of our members in the House that we are in support of an increase in the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. So we'll just wait po for those additional information. My apologies po, but would it be possible for you to provide the additional information to us? Medyo maikli lang po yung timeline. Kaya po ba within 48 hours? Kaya po by Friday? Kaya po. Sige po. Kasi, apo.
Will, Your Honor.
Thank you very much po. Because we would need to bring that in front of the deliberations of the Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee. Matatapos na po kasi kami sa committee deliberations namin by September 16. So, kailangan po maayos na po natin lahat ng mga proposed amendments before we go to the plenary.
Okay.
All right. So, given that...
Madam Chairperson?
All right. Just wanted to check in before we end. It seems like there are no more members who wish to interpolate the office of the Ombudsman. And with that, may I solicit a motion from the members?
Madam Chairperson,
Yes, Representative Mercado.
I move that we terminate the budget hearing on the proposed budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. I so move.
Second, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to terminate the budget hearing on the proposed budget of the Office of the Ombudsman for fiscal year 2026. The motion has been duly seconded, and with that, the motion is carried. The budget hearing on the proposed budget of the Office of the Ombudsman for fiscal year 2026 is hereby terminated.
Maraming salamat po sa mga kagalang-galang na mambabatas.
Thank you very much po to, of course, our Honorable Acting Ombudsman Dante F. Vargas, to our Deputy Ombudsman, Honorable Jose Balmeo Jr., to our Deputy Ombudsman, Honorable Cornelio Sonido, and to our Assistant Ombudsman, Honorable Adori Cornito, and to our Special Prosecutor, Honorable Miraflor Castillo, and to all of our officials from the Office of the Ombudsman who are here with us today. Maraming salamat po. And of course, a special thanks to our Vice Chairperson from the Committee on Appropriations who will be sponsoring the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman, the Honorable Congressman Attorney Mike Tan. Thank you very much po. And of course, to our members who are present here today. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much po for your invaluable insights, and we look forward to collaborating with the Office of the Ombudsman in making sure that we're able to well equip your office po with the necessary resources to be able to perform your mandate po, your expanded mandate for fiscal year 2026. May I solicit a motion from the members to give way to our transition to the next department?
I move. We suspend.
Madam Chairperson, I move that we suspend the budget hearing of the Office of the Ombudsman. So move.
Just to suspend the
Stand
budget hearing,
corrected.
please.
The budget hearing of the Office of the Committee on Appropriations. So move.
To give way to the transition
Second,
to
Madam Chair.
the budget hearing of the DENR, this hearing is suspended until 1:30 p.m. today.
Hello, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. Kuwan pala siya eh. Neighbor pala sila ng Ombudsman.
May we request po our Office of the Ombudsman family, okay lang po ba mag-group picture po tayo dito? Okay lang po. Thank you po.
Alumni pala ng Philippine High School.
Philippine Science po.
Philippine Science.